Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Purple Breakdown. I am your host, Alex. I'm so excited to be back here in another episode here with you. Now, I know I'm coming from a little bit of a different background. I am in New York right now, so sorry that I've not posted in a few days, but I'm here now. We're going to get caught up. I want to thank you all for listening in and stopping by, and I hope you're having an amazing week so far. It is a Thursday. I know the weather's a little cold here, but it should be warming up here soon. But I'm so excited to be back here and on another episode with you guys. But first, before we dive into it, please, if you like the content that you are hearing, please consider subscribing, liking, and commenting. Doing the same on Spotify, following, reviewing, and commenting. Comments make my day. I love reading them all from you. I read them first thing in the morning and I comment back on them. And you get the chance to have them featured here in the long form videos that we have here. Our first segment of every long form video like this is the comments from the previous videos. So if you want that and to get the shout out there, please comment. Let's dive into it today. So I know I've missed a lot, so we're going to get all the way caught up today. And I want to start by actually news that's coming out today and a little bit of yesterday is that the Ravens are expected to play the Cowboys in Rio in week 3. It would be the first game held by the NFL in Rio, and it would be it would be an away game for the Ravens in a foreign country, which it would be fun going down there to Brazil and playing. I would not be able to make it there, but it's an interesting thing that it would be an NFC battle there going down in Rio between the Cowboys and the Ravens. I'm excited to see it. I'm hoping that the Ravens can continue their record of beating NFC teams more than losing to them. So that's news number one, that the Ravens will be getting an out-of-country game playing the Cowboys in Rio in what's expected to be week 3. There's no confirmed date yet, and this is all still, it's just getting leaked out right now, but expect the Ravens to have an out of country game being held in Brazil. Now, next up, let's do the comments real quick because I forgot to do those. So, David, I would like to just talk real quick. And you said, great perspective on the draft. Very informative video for me. If EDC selects a wide receiver in first couple rounds and he is not at least 6'4" and 230 pounds, it's a wasted pick. IMO. We have enough short number 2 or number 3 wide receivers. We need that alpha. Will be interesting to see what the Ravens do in the draft. I think we are in a much stronger position going into the draft than we were at the start of free agency. Have a great weekend. Thank you, David. I agree with you. A big body receiver is definitely a need pick here. Somebody that can be an X factor receiver, be used in the blocking game. This is where the thoughts of picking up Juwan Jennings or trading for a bigger body wide receiver could come into play. There are big body receivers within the draft here that the Ravens could go for and that are available in the second, third round. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not they go for one of them or they go for one right off the rip in the first round. But we're going to go into something else just in a little bit to see where they go. But I do think we're in a lot stronger position, especially than last year. We've addressed the big holes and needs that, especially on the D line. There's still some spots to be filled, but that's mostly going to be filled remaining through the draft and a little bit left here in free agency as the Ravens use the remaining cap space that they have, which it's about that $30 million. NTE, you said, I know this is highly unlikely, but if somehow Ruben Bain Jr. and Jeremiah Love fall to pick 14, who would you want to take? Because Bain Jr. could fall because of his arm length, and Jeremiah Love could fall because edge, QB, and wide receiver are like the main picks in the early round. If this is somehow did happen, who would you take and why? I am partial to Jeremiah Love, and I think that is no shot out against Ruben Bain Jr. I think he's an amazing player, and he'll become a great player in the NFL. But Jeremiah Love is going to be one of the best running backs in the league. I believe he is leaps and bounds above what most everyone else could offer. And I think he should honestly actually be the 1 or 2 pick this year. And I think he's better than Mendoza and multiple other of the picks out there. And his ceiling is so high and his floor is already so high. And having that combo that you could have in the backfield between Derrick Henry and Jeremiah Love would be the lethalest, like the hardest to stop run game in the NFL. And then pairing that up with Lamar Jackson. And then you have your running back for the future. He will be the running back for the future. And so if it came down to those two, I'd rather go Jeremiah Love at that point. But I'm also fully and 100% expecting that neither Jeremiah Love nor Ruben Bain Jr. fall to the Ravens. I don't expect that to happen, but thanks for the question, NTE. That's who I would take and why. I want to shout out to NTE and David for the comments. Thank you so much. Sorry, I skipped over that for a second. Let's get right back into it. So we talked about Ravens going to play the Cowboys in Rio in week 3 down in Brazil, and now we have an update on Nnamdi Madubuike and where he is at in recovery. Last episode, I posted that there's growing optimism for him. Well, at the NFL meeting for owners meeting, Minter was there and addressed it, and so did the president of the Ravens also addressed it, that don't get too hung up on that Madubuike is still in recovery right now and not fully there yet, and that it's too early to say where he's at. Minter even said he's in a great place mentally right now, but he's still doing lots of exercises that are to be determined, and that they have a lot of backup plans just in case he can be, but that he later on says that like the decision for whether or not Madubuike comes back is up to Madubuike, that he has to be healthy and ready and has to feel confident like he can thrive and succeed. It hurts. This feels like a little bit of a step back, especially after hearing growing optimism coming into it, and now we're taking a step backwards a little bit, and they're sort of hushing and saying let's calm down, halt the optimism, and just let him recover at the pace he needs. It is a neck injury, and neck injuries are harder to deal with in the NFL, and I wouldn't want to rush him back coming into the league, but you cannot overstate how much of an impact that Madubuike has on the defense, and without him being there, the Ravens defensive line would hurt. And this is where picking up DJ Reader off the Lions and having him brought in could help. For everyone in the background, there are multiple people in the house here, so from roommates from college. So I was waving at Mr. Daniel Ogg here. He is former roommate from college. A lot of fun to have around. Welcome to the podcast, Dan.
I appreciate it. I'm going to keep it short and simple. I'm just trying to find my pretzels.
Your
Cannot wait.
pretzels are right back there.
Very good. Cannot wait to see the Ravens in hopefully the AFC Championship game as they play my Texans.
Mm-hmm.
And the defense much of the same. Offense will be much better.
Actually, Shane here is our host for the weekend. This is Ryan.
Hi guys.
Another roommate from Miami. Great friends.
Doing good. We're having a great week. Playing a lot of wiffle ball. Alex has been the MVP so far.
Yeah, we've been playing a lot.
Let's get back to your analysis stuff. Enjoy.
Thank you. Quick shout out to Ryan. If you like baseball and like Yankees baseball, he runs his own podcast called River Ave Radio, and he's actually going to be releasing another episode today. So if you want to go give a listen to that, go give a listen to my man and listen to it. Of course, Ryan. So let's jump back into it. I was talking about DJ Reader and how the Ravens are bringing him in and well, not signed him, but got him in, talked to him. This could be the thought if Madubuike is not entirely healthy to come back, then DJ Reader could come in and help fill that role. When it comes to the draft, they need a defensive tackle to help shore it up entirely, because there's so many questions around Madubuike right now and that need to be answered. So that's that place we're at with Madubuike, and I'd like to see a little more help happen there, especially between free agency and the draft. That depth needs to be added there. The other thing is depth could be added to the D line right now. We talked about needing to add another edge across from Trey Hendrickson, because Trey Hendrickson gets after the quarterback, is constantly pushing the quarterback, and is just better as a rusher than he is at a run stopper. And so they need someone on the other side, especially with Mike Green on the other side being more of a rusher than he is of a run stopper at the edge as well. They need somebody that can be a run stopper that's beyond just having Tavius Robinson. And so news is actually Jadeveon Clowney came out there and said on another podcast episode that he is open to returning to the Baltimore Ravens, that he really likes the Ravens defense and the culture that they have there, that they respect their defensive players. And I mean, that's one thing the Ravens have always prided themselves on, having a strong defense, having a good connection with defensive players, relying and holding their defense to higher standards. That is Ravens football. That's what we've done. Jadeveon Clowney has been on the Ravens before, performed extremely well when he was on the Ravens, helped bring us into that AFC Championship that year. And this past year, he had 26 solo tackles for 9 sacks, 3 assists, and 1 forced fumble. He had a 70.6 run defense grade and 80.6 pass rush grade, a 79.2 overall grade. That 70.6 is above league average, and I think he could, if the Ravens are going to be bringing anyone in, we were talking about Cameron Jordan on the other side too as well, but Jadeveon Clowney would be a good fit, especially having already been on the Ravens and now having expressed saying, yeah, I'm open to returning to the Ravens. I like their team. I like the defensive culture. I've done well there. And he even went on further to say, like, I have more left in the tank to give teams and to push further with the teams and to give to more. And I 100% believe that he has more to give out there and push and do better. And I think it would be a great thing for Minter and DeCosta to consider bringing in Clowney. They have $30 million left to work with in cap space, and Clowney wouldn't be worth too much out there, and neither would DJ Reader. So combining them together, you could bring them both in for a little bit more of a budget with what's left and leaving enough open for the draft picks, as well as trying to go for possibly a wide receiver or some other positions you need in free agency still remaining. So I'd really like to see this followed through with and bringing Jadeveon Clowney back to the Ravens and having him on there. I think would be a great impact, and that would help create one of the best pass rushing sort of formats in the league, that you could have Trey Hendrickson out there, you could have Jadeveon Clowney, you could have Mike Green, you could have Tavius Robinson, and if Madubuike returns, that center line between Madubuike and Travis Jones, it'll be great. And I'm really excited to see how that operates and pulls out, and that if the Ravens can bring Jadeveon Clowney back, I'd like to hear more reports out, and I'd like for it to see that happen. So let's keep going. Let's look at keep going on the defensive side right now, and that's actually that the Ravens have just been said. Sorry, I'm going through my notes. Here it is. That the Ravens have just been identified by Sports Illustrated analyst that they have the best safety trio in the league between Kyle Hamilton, Malachi Starks, and Jalen Hawkins. So those are the three starting safeties. And we know Minter being a defensive-minded head coach, which him being a defensive-minded head coach could help actually bring Jadeveon Clowney in. And I'm sure Clowney's looking at that going, heck yeah, I want a defensive-minded head coach. But they're being identified as having the best safety trio in the league. And honestly, I 100% believe this. Kyle Hamilton is the best safety out there, in my opinion. I don't think there's anyone else out there that can compete with that as much. Malachi Starks and Jalen Hawkins will operate very well together. I think Hamilton will be operating much more, not just as a safety, but will being used as a Swift Army knife, where he's going to go and hunt. And just what this trio can accomplish and what they've shown so far, well, Kyle Hamilton and Malachi Starks have played together on the same team, but what Jalen Hawkins has shown of just being a consistent player will show up on this team. And I think this safety trio is going to look a lot better in the backfield and not give up as much as what we've seen in years past. And I mean, when Hamilton has been played as a safety and a little more farther back, he's helped hold the pass games at least a little bit better. I cannot speak to Marlon Humphrey and what Marlon Humphrey has done in just not executing and giving up plays. I mean, you look at the games and what Marlon Humphrey did and why he's still in the Ravens. I have some question marks about that, but the Ravens seem to be going forward with him as the cornerback and wanting to stay with him. We will see how that operates going forward. Sorry if you hear noise in the background. Ryan is recording another episode, so you're going to hear possibly some background noise between the two, but shout out to Ryan as he records his podcast. So I'm excited to see how the safety trio operates. I think the cornerback room can take a massive step forward as Nate Wiggins takes over the cornerback room and pushes that a little further. Now, I know I've been going on here for a little while and I'm coming on, so let's keep this going so I'm not taking up too much of your guys' time today. I like to try and keep them a little shorter now so that I'm not taking up too much time and we can just I'm not taking up your whole day. But next thing up is possible contract coming through. Will the Ravens re-sign Zay Flowers? A few days ago, Zay Flowers came out and on Instagram he said, ran through a couple of storms, but I knew one day the sun was going to rise. And he posted it on Instagram. Lamar commented in it and said, that deal with the finger pointing up. And I think this is all but confirming that the Ravens are going to keep Zay Flowers and keep him around on the team. This is a different philosophy going forward from the Ravens than what they've done in the past. When you look at what the Ravens have done in the past, they have not kept wide receiver talent that they've brought in. Marquise Brown left, and they've gone out and sourced wide receivers from elsewhere, and it's never been the primary target of the Ravens. It's always been operate through the run first. running back group still has Derrick Henry, has Justice Hill, has Rasheen Ali. So there's pieces there. Derrick Henry is, I think Justice Hill is going to continue to slow down as injuries happen more and more, because every year he gets just one really bad hit that he gets injured on. But that's beside the point. This is a difference in philosophy that the Ravens realized. Lamar Jackson needs weapons out there, and he needs weapons to help him operate better. He cannot do it all on his own. And so Zay Flowers has shown that he can be a lower end wide receiver one, and having 1,000+ yard receiving years for 2 years in a row now, having made a Pro Bowl. And so they're deciding, one, keep Lamar happy, but two, keep the talent that is homegrown there. Even if he's not the best wide receiver in the league and not, going to be the next coming of Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase and getting paid $40-some million a year and, getting 1,500, 1,600 receiving yards a year and 8-9 touchdowns or whatever he gets, he's still going to be a productive member of the offense and help move the ball. And so I'm actually a little excited to see Zay Flowers Day, but this next year I'd like to see, even though he's going to get a massive contract off this, it's probably going to be $31-32 million a year paying towards this. I'd like to see him get coached in, take what's given to you, and not always try and do the moves to create more space, because multiple times he's done that. He's fumbled the ball or dropped the ball or anything else that has happened. Insert all the videos of all the moments that the team has fallen short. But I think it's a good idea to keep the homegrown talent that is at least a lower wide receiver one, if not an upper wide receiver two, on the team, and keep that talent there when the Ravens don't have much outside that. Because I'm sorry, I'm looking at Rashad Bateman, and I know they're saying he's going to have a resurgent year. I just don't think he is a true wide receiver two without extra help around him, and Zay can be that help. And I'm wanting to see Tez make a step forward and compete for it, and for others to compete up in there and LeJontay Western see who can take that next step forward and grab it. So, but that's beside the point, is that even though Zay is staying, and I really is expected to stay now, even if they pick up the 5th-year option, he will get a long-term contract. They have said that they wanted to give him a long-term contract quicker and sooner rather than later. They still need to bring another wide receiver talent. They need a true X-factor receiver, a big body receiver, and the more weapons you give Lamar, the more successful he will be. And so that is the news on Zay. And final part we're going to go into today is doing a little bit of talking furthermore on the offense, is that when looking at the Ravens and what their needs are, and the draft coming up so soon, now that we're in April and the draft is only a few weeks away from now, more and more mock drafts have been happening, and Matt Miller just came out and he said that he expects the Ravens at pick 14 to take Kenyon Sadiq, who's the Oregon tight end that had such a great year, and that this would be helping to replace, likely, you get your stretching the field vertically tight end, a big guy who's got immediate impact on the team. And I mean, when you look at what he's done, he has a 72.1 overall receiving grade, a 73.8 all overall grade. He had 509 receiving yards for 8 touchdowns on 42 receptions. So he gets down there, and what was more crazy was his combine. I mean, his 40-yard dash was a 4.39. His vertical jump was a 43.5. His broad jump was 11 feet 1. His 10-yard split was 1.54. So, I mean, the talent and the physical size is there. He's 6'3", 241 pounds. So he's massive. He moves quick. And I mean, the physical attributes are there. My only problem with this is going back to, what are the Ravens' base needs right now? What is their most necessary needs? And their most necessary needs right now, through the draft, that need to be addressed first before I think looking at Kenyon Sadiq, is still trenches. Because as much as you add another weapon in there for Lamar at tight end, and he does like his tight ends, it's not going to help if the O-line is not performing up to what it needs, or if the D-line is not performing up to what it needs as well. And I think the offensive line at this moment has more holes and issues than what the D-line does. If Madubuike doesn't return, there is some other questions, and I think that could be the first thing to get addressed if the talent is there where they want it to be. But as of this moment, if Madubuike can come back, I think the first thing that needs to be addressed is center and guard, and that they need to bring in something there, one or the other, because they have to address it. You cannot go into the season without having a solid center or guard in there to help protect that O-line and make it a solid enough O-line. But we'll see which way it goes. As much as I would love seeing Kenyon Sadiq on the team and what he could offer to the team, I think it's just more important to focus on the trenches first. But that is not to say that I would be upset with that pick. I think it would be a good pick. Again, you would solve the tight end position, and you would have your tight end theoretically for the future, as Kenyon Sadiq's contract would outlast what Mark Andrew has. And when Mark Andrew's contract comes to an end, you'd not be re-signing him on that age. You'd be past 30 years old. Kenyon would be an up-and-comer and would be pushing forward. And then he would be your new starting tight end for the future. So that's the thought behind it. I honestly don't even know if Kenyon Sadiq will make it to pick 14 with what his measurables were, but we will see. So that is all I have for today. I know we went into a lot of stuff, and sorry if my voice is a little scratchy and low. I'm still a little tired right now, and my nose is a little stuffy, but I want to thank you all so much for joining in and jumping in. 21-minute video, not too much of your time of your day. I hope if you guys enjoyed listening to it, please consider subscribing to the podcast, liking, sharing, commenting, same on Spotify, following, leaving review, leaving comments. Again, those comments make my day. I read them first thing. I respond to you guys. They help with engagement because I just want to talk Ravens, and you guys commenting helps me talk Ravens. I'll be getting more episodes out here soon as this week comes to an end. I've just been a little busy being up here in New York and hanging out with buddies as we are again, because it's been a while and I'm really enjoying it. So sorry about not getting as many episodes out as quick, but I just wanted to do a quick update episode right now, and that's why you see the different background. So again, please, if you guys like the video, please consider subscribing, commenting, and liking. I'll keep videos coming out here soon. So I want to thank you all so much for joining in. I can't wait to see what the future holds, and draft is getting close here soon. So thank you all so much for joining in and jumping in, and I can't wait to talk with you all next time. Have a great rest of your day.